Alright, what's up guys? This is my Air's Work. I'm Colton, and here's that 1970 Mustang. So we're halfway done with the build. A lot of the engine work has already been done. Per the last video, I am moving on to getting the valves in today and the whole valve train. We already went ahead and put on the heads in the last video, as well as mocked up the headers, and honestly I think it's looking great. So, as far as the valve train, I have a few things to go through. We just got done painting the intake manifold, just a slight gloss black. I also have the paint for the full engine, which I will paint when the time comes. But for now, let's hop right into the valve train. I'm going to start out with priming those lifters with oil. I think we just start out once those are primed by putting the cylinder that we're working on to top dead center, and then from there we are able to make sure that these poly-lock rockers I have are adjusted properly and then locked down with the lifters in place, obviously. And then after that, I think we should be good to go. I'll start to get a gasket wrapped up for the intake manifold, and once that's dried, should be good to go to just throw it on. Alright, as you guys saw, got the lifters in there okay. We had them primed up as well as threw some of that assembly grease on like I said. Looks like everything's sitting pretty good, not having any clearance issues or anything like that. All the valleys seem to be good. So next step now, get some of these lockers out as well as the stock push rods. I didn't change any of the geometry drastically besides that camshaft, so we should be good to go. It shouldn't be too much of a drastic change when we start to lock these down and make sure that the push rods are okay to go. I will make sure that I clear these out first and that there is no obstruction so that the oil can flow through properly. Otherwise we are good to go. Once I get those on, it should be a good process. So we're gonna start that process by pushing this back a little bit. I'm going to get it to top dead center in cylinder 1 and we will start there. I believe it's top dead center. If not, somebody can correct me or I will correct myself when I look at the YouTube video to make sure I know what I'm doing. Alright, just wanted to come back and re-evaluate what was going on here. So basically the way that I'm doing this is different than what some other people might. I am going ahead and taking the exhaust and intake valves and getting them equal and getting the piston, whichever one that I am adjusting for zero lash on, to top dead center. Easiest way to tell on a small block Ford, you can either look inside of the spark plug hole and see where it is, or you can stick your finger inside of the spark plug, and as you're turning it around, feel for that air. I'll give you an example here actually. Now some people will say you need to go in the firing order to do it. This is just the way that I've learned how to do it. Right here on the left is going to be your exhaust valve. The easiest way to tell that it's the exhaust valve is just you look down here, whichever one is in line with the exhaust port here is going to be your exhaust valve. This is the exhaust valve right here. As you can see, it's coming up on the exhaust pass we're gonna go ahead and keep going. Now you can see that it's coming up on the intake valve, and that's gonna start to come through. Another easy way to see is with a flashlight. You can see in there it's at top dead center. Once that's at top dead center, I'm gonna go ahead and take my push rods. I've been using the assembly grease that I had mentioned earlier, and just putting a dab on both ends. One on this end, and then I just like to put one inside the lifter. Is fine too. Nothing's too crazy. After that's all set up, since I'm in a neutral position, now is the best time to get these adjusted for zero lash. I haven't been putting any preload on it. I haven't done enough research to see if I need preload either. But basically, gonna take this, and as I'm turning the nut down, I'm going to turn the push rod as well. Make sure that you actually, for these poly locks, back them out so that you're not bottoming out. I'm going to continue to tighten it, and you will be able to feel the resistance. And right there, I go from pretty smooth to a little bit of resistance. Now at this point in time, some people will take it and turn it another quarter turn. I'm not sure whether or not my lifters are primed enough to be able to do that. I can go back and do this when I need to. For now, I'm just going to set the poly lock right there on what's considered zero lash. As long as you do your research, everything should be fine. So I got this one at the point of resistance, spinning, 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 a little harder to spin. There, that's zero lash for me. I'm going to tighten that poly lock down. And I think once I finish up this last one, I should be good to go. Start cleaning off some of these mating surfaces. Make sure there's not too much oil on them. And then I should be able to put the intake on as long as I make a nice little gasket here. After finishing that push rod and rocker combo, we're able to see the final results, and I gotta say I'm ecstatic to see how far we've come. This is absolutely beautiful. I think that we've put it together correctly and followed procedures properly, but you never really know until you first turn that key. With that, we're not quite done yet though. With a few gaskets and some gasket sealer, we're able to go ahead and throw that intake on, torque it down, and get a final quick look at what the engine might look like. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in for more.